Hello, friends. Welcome back. And today's topic in hand to learn more about the concepts of national income is net factor income from abroad. So, here we begin. Net factor income from abroad. Let's see what is it made up of. It's made up of three terms: net, then factor income, and then from abroad. It means, as I told you in my previous video, net means something minus something. So we would be taking the net value after considering two components, right? Then we have to talk about the factor income. Factor income means the earned income, the bilateral income, where there is one give and one take, right? So we have been talking about this many a times that land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, these are primarily the factor incomes for production of any good or services. From abroad means that this income is generated not from your own country, but from some other foreign nation. So let's begin that how do we do it? What is going to be the type of this national income and the net factor income from abroad? So if you consider that, okay, I'll give you the straight parts out of it and then I'll try to relate the same with this concept. The first component of factor income from abroad is net compensation of employees. Now, what is it? Compensation of employees. And we do have the component net. Net means the compensation of employees received by the nation minus the compensation of employees paid to some other nations of abroad, right? So compensation means when the person is in this capacity, he is working for some other person, right? Second is net income from property and entrepreneurship. What does it mean? Net again means we would have the received component, received from abroad minus paid to abroad. Right. The property component, income coming from property and entrepreneurship. See, land is our property. Capital again is our property. So, and entrepreneurship means the entrepreneurial income when a person takes up the initiative of all the planning, controlling, staffing, and all the works taken together. So he's the entrepreneur. He is working for himself, but he's not working for others. Others do work for him. So when this type of income is generated and the difference is calculated, so this becomes net income from property and entrepreneurship. And the third component of this is net retained earnings. This is a concept of accountancy where we talk about retained earnings. Retained earnings are the part of profits of any organization. So the net means again the retained earnings received by the country minus the retained earnings paid by the country to some other nationals. Now, to make it more clear, let's have a beautiful example. Like, I'm giving you the example. Why this concept comes into picture at all? If I am born and brought up in India, right? I work in India and for the whole duration of my productivity. So, whatever I produce, that is my domestic income, that is my national income, there is no problem at all. But why the concept of net factor income comes? Because sometimes we go for short, small assignments abroad as well. Like if I am to go for, say, 3 months project outside my country, but still I am the resident of my own country. But when I'm working on a project, it becomes a factor income. So that is the example of factor income received from abroad, and we call it factor income from abroad. The factor income means because it is earned income. From abroad means it was earned in the domestic territory of the other nation. So it contributed to the domestic territory of some other nation, but it came back to us as the national income, right? And when we subtract factor income to abroad, now take another example. Say a Japanese person has come to India for a project of 6 months. He's working, so it's a earned income, so it's factor income, right? For these 6 months, he would be in the domestic territory of India. So his income, which is generated, would be a part of domestic territory of India, right? So that is domestic income. But now that he is still a resident of his own country, so this income would be a part of the national income of his company. So such component becomes factor income to abroad. So when we go for this difference, factor income from abroad minus factor income to abroad, this becomes NFIA. And this is again one of the most vital relationship you must see, understand for solving the numericals of national income. Then comes the question, where is it used? This is used for finding the equation and the equality between domestic income and national income. Again, good enough from the perspective of numericals. So when we add NFIA means net factor income from abroad in domestic income, it becomes the national income. And this is the required conversion in many numericals. One very important point here is this NFIA can be negative, can be positive, and can be zero. How and why? Because if this component FIFA is bigger and this is smaller, FITA, so NFIA is positive. And when the received components falls short of the paid component, it becomes negative. And when these two components are equal, this becomes zero. So with this, I hope you have your doubts clarified regarding this concept of NFIA. God bless. Have a blissful day.